Well, it's been a little while. So the belt came in, the proper belt. I suspect the belt is causing the slowness that we discussed last time of the rewind, fast forward, and playing. I mean, it was kind of like, slow motion. So I've got the belt here. I fit it. The belt is thicker than the one I took out. Apparently, people still have trouble figuring out which belt they're selling you. But I noticed on the one I have working upstairs, the belt was very thick as well. So it is on. I haven't reconnected anything because this gets to be lots of fun, as you know. So I didn't take everything off because I kind of wanted to not take everything off because it's difficult. But now I got to figure out how to get things back in. And you got to watch your wires and kind of move this down once the belt is around the capstan pulley. So it has these tiny screws, little tiny screws. I don't know if you see that. There we go. By my ring there. So I'm going to stand up and see if I can't maneuver this around where I can put it back on. I first got to make sure it's the right way. Let's have a look here. So it would have to go like this because it has the thing the card sits in, the electronics card. So I think this is the correct way. Now we just need to line the holes up, which is about right there. Let's see if I can go in. No, of course not. All right. Okay. That's funny because that was magnetized a bit ago and now it doesn't seem to be. So let me find the proper screwdriver here, get that out, and if I can even see it, which I can't. So a little light on the subject, looking for a little screw. It's in there. Did it already fall out? Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Let me see if I can wrangle up that screw. Okay, we're back. I found my daughter was kind enough to find the screw. Of course, nothing is connected right, so you just can't start moving it. But I gotta get this straight. Let's see if we can bring this up to where it's a little higher. Now line up the holes. I continue fiddling with the mechanism there, trying to get things back in. I thought I'd take a second and take you on a little journey to the past. You know, it was 1977. I was in college at Prince George's Community College. Go Owls. Um, and I had this great instructor who was teaching computer operations. Now, back then, there were no personal computers, no small computers. Everything was a mainframe computer, which I know if you're younger, it's hard for you to imagine how far it's come. But we're talking rooms full, I mean, big rooms full of computing power that would, I mean, your phone has probably 1,000, 10,000 times more power than what we ran then. So, but try to imagine as you go back, you're learning how things work in college. A lot of the basics of computing is still relatively the same. And so here I am, I'm in class, and this teacher goes, "Hey, come up here for a second. They're looking for people to go part time at NASA. Here's the number and the name of the guy to call." I'm going to remember his name in a second, but and so I'm like, as soon as he said NASA, I about fell on the floor because remember, I grew up in the 60s as a little kid. Everything in the 60s, or a lot of it, was the space program. Sending a man into space, John Glenn, and on and on and on, and eventually we landed on the moon in 1969. I watched as much footage of that as we could. As a matter of fact, in school, they had it on TV. They had a whole day of just watching it. As kids, you would do little worksheets and stuff while it was on. And I was enamored with all of it. The buttons, dials, switches, lights of the space capsule, all the flight controls and things like that. So imagine this guy says, "Hey, they're hiring people at NASA," and now I wanted to be an astronaut, which is kind of funny because I'm not exactly the right shape to be an astronaut, but I said okay. So I went out before class and gave this guy a call, and he said, "Yeah, come on out on Saturday. We'll have an interview." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So I find out they're running these Xerox computer mainframes, and my mom said, "Hey, go to the library before you go and try to find something." You couldn't look it up online because online didn't exist yet. So I went to the library and I found like some ads in one of the computer magazines of the day, very early, of these Xerox Sigma 5 mainframes used for scientific data processing. So I said, okay, at least I know kind of what this thing looks like because that's what they were interested in. And I went and talked to the guy and I got the job. And I was just thrilled considering it paid more than my work at a local store called Highs, of all things. It was a dairy store in Maryland. And it was working at Goddard Space Flight Center, a dream come true. So the whole thing is there are things in life where one little decision, one branch that you're presented with that can change your whole trajectory of life. And it can be in anything, not just jobs, it can be in relationships, whatever. But man, that set me on a path to the next, well, about 20 years at Goddard. And then I switched and went to Silicon Valley and did some stuff there. But you never know, the one decision that you make can set you on, your future path. So hang in there to all your little dreams and all, and listen to the little voice in your head. If you have an opportunity to make a decision on something, it could be the decision. And I know it was for me. So hang in there. You need a good bit of patience to do this. All right, so I got one. Now, it really comes in handy to have X-ray vision. Just kidding. Okay. All right. Guess what? Okay, for now, for a new set of hands to reach down in there. So thank you, kind helper. So that was my daughter, ladies and gentlemen. So we've gotten the bracket holding it back. It looks like it's spinning pretty good. So let's get the rest of this back together and see if it had any effect on the slowness. So let me just go ahead and start. We pulled out some stuff. I have to check where that goes again. Okay, so I think we got it. So let's put the screws in again. Get this guy buttoned up. Check the switch, make sure it's between our numbers. Which one it feels like. Yeah. Feels like it's bowed out a little too far. Oh. Okay, I think that got it. There's all these little catches and that you don't, I mean, unless you're an expert, of course, or a lot more experienced than me. Let's see, I'll get this on. So if we haven't damaged anything, I don't think so. They're pretty tough, you know, you just can't rip stuff out, you know. Okay, so I think I got the switch in where it belongs. I think I got the belt in. Now we get to work on my favorite part, which is putting the counter belt on, which has been the biggest pain. Honestly, it doesn't have to be this hard. There we go. Put down. There's all these little, like there's a big screw sticking way up that holds the, we're going to probably come in from the right first, my right. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, we're getting there. And then what you do is look in the front, you can see the switches coming through, and you just kind of line them up. Oh, we can't do that yet. We have to grab our favorite belt, this counter belt. Which is actually caught on the mechanism. Oh, nice. Alright, so lift it back up. Let's come back out. We having fun yet? The counter belt caught on one of the pause switch, actually. No, it's not coming out. Come back up. Figure out what is stopping you. It's still too far in. All right, give me a second and I'll clean this up. Okay, good morning. I'm back at it here. I'm getting the mechanism reinstalled after installing the dreaded counter belt and the new main belt. So let's have a look here. I got it so you can see. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, and we'll see if it moves off faster and fast forward and rewind. So 1 second. Okay, so we got it plugged in. I've turned it on. You can see it on. Oh, we lost our backlight. Okay, I'll have to fix that. This light is out. I think it's slipped out or something. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But let's see. Let's give it a go. Let's try play. Okay. Can't tell much by looking at it. We'll take a field trip upstairs to put it on, but first let's try rewind. Okay, well that's not good. Man, I'll tell you. Fast forward seems to work. Boy, rewind is not happy. All right. So let's have a look at it right here. See the motors moving. Just struggling with rewind here. All right, so let's try another tape here. It seems when the tape is all on the pickup reel, or the right reel, I should say, if you're looking at it, and then you start fast or rewind, it seems to be going pretty good, and now it just slowly slows. Now that was the original problem. Not to mention the play was slow. You can hear it, it's moving. So we're going to take this up and plug it in and see if the playback sounds any better. And then we'll go from there. Oh, and I see the light is actually on, it's just not in place, so we'll fix that. All right, so sort of, but we'll take it upstairs. Okay, so here is my stereo system, and here is our patient. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up and see how it sounds. Okay, so here we are. We're going to turn this on, and I have a little proof that the motor is super slow. What should happen is this tape plays a tone at 3000 hertz. I'm playing it through the headphone jack, and this device on my phone is going to record the sound. If it's not 3000, if it's lower, it's slower. If it's higher, it's faster. So let's take a look. You can hear that annoying sound. And my phone, let's see if I can get it. That is 1587. That is about half of what it should be. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop. So, what that tells us is the motor is running too slow. That would not be my first conclusion, and it has not been. I've been through this thing 4 or 5 times, tore the mechanism apart, checking for sticky or gummied up works, and there are none. So I'm going to have to find a new motor for this. So we've brought it back from the dead, but it's still sick. It's certainly not usable this way. All the functions are slower. The rewind, fast forward, that's about half speed of what it should be. So, all right, so we're going to call it a day on this guy. I've got another one coming up, so stay tuned, and don't forget to like and comment and even share. It's most appreciated. So there you have it. This will be, well, there may be another episode on this when I can actually fix it with a new motor. But, you know, I've learned a lot through this process of going through and, you know, being more thorough. And take your time because, you know, I mean, although they have a source manual, they weren't meant to be in here all that much. But I've learned a ton about this particular model. So we've got another one that I'm going to put out. It'll be our season 2, basically, and be able to work on this one. I'll show you exactly what's wrong, because this time I didn't start without you. So I don't know. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. If you have any suggestions about this guy, if I'm missing something really obvious, you know, in software testing, I always had this little, I don't know, saying, look for the horse, not the zebra. When you're diagnosing problems, especially complicated ones, people will tend to go, oh, it's, you know, it's some wild thing wrong, and that's a zebra, right? When in fact you left something dangling, that's a horse. So, you know, so you look at stuff like that. By the way, that dangling yellow wire was not the problem, but I did see it later. So another example of horse and zebra thing is it's used in medicine. When you go into the emergency room with a cough, they don't immediately say, oh my God, you have cancer. That isn't their first conclusion. That would be a zebra. You may have cancer, but probably not. More than likely you got a cold or, well, God forbid, COVID. But you know what I'm saying. So it's usually something else statistically. So I use that methodology all through here. So I'm hoping we're going to get into this next one. I'm going to start filming, and I think I know I've taken a peek without you, sorry. But I think I know where to look now due to all the experience with this one. So, you know, considering how bad this guy was, we're going to claim victory here and move on. Although I want to get it fixed because it just bugs me that it doesn't work right. I'm one of those people, like if the picture is crooked, I have to fix it. Yeah, one of those. So anyway, thanks for taking the ride with me. Look for the next RT-1165. We'll somehow delineate it differently, like S2, E1, that kind of thing, which I should have done with these actually. But anyway, we'll see you there. Thanks for watching.